Hello, hello, good morning. Welcome to another ES Futures trading stream. Today is Wednesday, May 28th. We are 2 days before this month ends, and it is 11:25 or 22 a.m. Eastern time in the US. Alright, I just wanted to do a really quick stream just to ask, you know, just to ask this question. What are you doing now? Right? What are you doing now today? Are you selling? Are you afraid to sell? Are you trying to catch the low? Are you buying the market because what happened yesterday? Did you put the market in context? Those questions are questions that we are always going to be asking ourselves in this job, in this business. Every time, most likely, or odds are that the answer to those questions are going to be different. All of them, most of them, some of them, but there's going to be always a difference. Yesterday, what we have yesterday, the context for yesterday is completely different than what we are having today. I'm going to show you something here to yesterday. This is Friday here. What I'm going to do, I am going to merge these profiles here. Right? All of this that you can see here came after Sunday opening. It opened here, makes an attempt to trade around 7 and then just give us something like this, which is a short. This is a short covering. And notice when I join these two things, there's tremendous amount of trade in this area. Not just that, but the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to split this one. And I'm going to split this day as well. I don't know what days are. I think this is Thursday and Wednesday. But something that came from this day are this big liquidation that we have here. The liquidation of this range, of this trading range. The liquidation of this trading range that was forming here. It came here in this day, right? And the day that follow, we have another liquidation here, but it has nothing really. Notice where this profile is located. It has no excess saddle low and closing pretty much where the gap. I think it was the gap at the time. Yeah, the gap was no, my bad. There was. I don't remember what. I mean, it created a gap the next day when it opened way below here after it has downside here. And all this based on news, right? Tariffs on being imposed on about 50% being imposed in European Union. And when you open, or when the market open up here, odds are that we may have seen rebalancing here, but all of this inventory is underwater, and there was significant volume here. All right, let's call this again. This is, you have this last 3 days of the week have higher volume. Notice how it was decreasing, and then the last 3 are high. Alright, we have high volume there. And the only trade that we have yesterday was to the upside. And here comes more things. And after the rebalancing of the overnight inventory, notice how most of the value area has been taken. Alright, there's a tremendous gap, kind of like was filled half, which now leaves 2 gaps, right? One here and one down here in the lower side. And pay attention to this trend here. Yeah, this trend here, downside trend. Notice what happened when we have an upside trend. Touches, tested, touches, tested. I'm not saying that may happen, but odds are, and this is been between those. Now that we may have a trend, a downside trend here, right? But one step at a time. And yesterday, we have a really painful trending day to watch. Really hard to watch. Like very slow, grinding its way the higher. But it has something very interesting. Okay? It has huge volume here. As the market started to break here, it has huge volume, which kind of like give me something, some thoughts that this might be a little bit more than just a short rebalancing the overnight inventory. There might be something here. But what followed afterwards, this big upside that we have in B, is also kind of very interesting, because the volume, if you check volume here, we have higher volume. Notice, compare this area here to this one here. It's still higher, right? And after that, after the 2 periods, we have about the same, right? We got this length, this range of the 3 periods is about the same as the 3rd period, and so on all the way to the end, right? Except the last one. I want to check this one too. And in between, there was a series of short-time references here. It gave us multiple distributions. We have 4 distributions yesterday, and as we speak, the market is closing. Has closed this lower distribution here. I'm going to remove this one. Uh-oh. What the heck was that? That wasn't a distribution, was it? What was that? Let me check. I guess I erased something that I didn't mean to. I don't know what that is. Give me a second, please. I need to check. I need to check what was that. What the heck was that? I guess if I check my home, what it should be there. Hey, that was a late pullback low. Is it? Oh no, the late pullback low is still there. Huh. What the heck? Just a moment, please. This is for me. I need to know what I did over there, because I am following this market. I don't want to do late pullback. Oh, that was settled. Oh, my bad. Yeah, that was settled. I got it now. Let's put that back, okay? Where is settle? Settle is 58.17. This one is closed. Let's close this one. Erase drawing. Let's duplicate this. 17, right? 17. This is settled now. Uh-oh. So, okay. Now we have an upside market now. We have a market to the upside. Check it out. One. Yesterday we have one, and today we have. Unless this low is taken, this is a market to the upside. Alright, and the relevance of doing your homework. This is when as the day close and you do homework, I just check this. This is tremendous liquidation here that takes all of the last year, all of 2024 advance has been taken back. Right? But market closes inside previous month, and this month is about to take this one. Now I'm very careful here. Right? We may have a range, potential range formation here. Right now the market has come back inside this 2-month range and is potentially targeting this all-time highs. That could be the ultimate destination. Now, but the circumstances now are different than 2024. Right? We have now around 22-23% advance, which is what we have last year. But just notice, right? The market has advanced almost 23%, almost the whole thing that we did last year, but in just 2 months, right? In less than 2 months. It took 1 year to have 26. Yeah. Now to do 26, that would be really impressive. That would mean that this market would have an advance of about 30-35% this year, right? And what are the circumstances now for that to happen? The environment is completely different. Everything is different. Many things are different. There's nothing similar. Nothing that remains unchanged from last year. It's completely different. Now, this week or in the weekly, this is a reference that I was. What is this? Now that the market has entered this 3-month range, we have the last range in the upper side is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 week range before the all-time high. And notice what is happening here, right? Re-enters, rejected, enters, rejected, right? Now it just touches there, and this is something that you must have had in your charts today. This is something, right? After doing the homework, right? Because after doing homework, since this downside trend, potential downside trend, has been taken, and we have the same behavior going higher, it may happen to the downside. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I say it might happen, right? And there's potential for, especially after these kind of days, trending days, there's a potential for some rebalancing the next day. It's just odds, right? I was expecting some sideways trading here, and my main reference is this pullback. There was tremendous absorption that happened here. Lots of trade around this 30, 59, 30 area here, back and forth, tremendous amount of trading, right? And the market closing, pretty much standing, holding this area. Now, another thing, Now there's a lot of things here. I'm going to minimize this and call this one now. This little thing from this tremendous, this is a liquidation that happened when the tariffs were announced, idea of tariffs, and this could have been the ultimate destination yesterday, right? And that gave us this range, right? Now what do we have above? We have this one, we have this one, and we have this one over here. This one remains, this two remains. This one has been taken. It's not having upside continuation. What do we have for upside continuation here? We happen to have this support or resistance or whatever. Right now it's acting as a resistance. And also this is just trading, right? What do we have today at the after close? We have NVIDIA. We have the end of the month on Friday. We have PCE on Friday too, right? So just ask yourself, what can happen with NVIDIA? That can be really good or can be really bad. Who would like to face that announcement and hedge or short or long, right? But for yesterday, we have this thing. This is which brings us to the late pullback low that we have from yesterday as a main piece of information for today. And what is that? What I'm watching now, where the traders or where value develops today as the days develops, right? Like this, I'm talking down here. Now we have very emotional day yesterday, and we're having the same thing today. I'm going to move this one because this distribution is close. Now we have this distribution close up here for today. Okay, this is POC. There was now yesterday, and here's the question, right? With which I opened the stream. It was really hard to get long yesterday, okay, but that was the only trade that possible that had. My bad. There were two trades yesterday. Yeah? One was a rebalancing, right? Rebalancing of this overnight inventory, right? That some potential long liquidation, right? But the main one came in this area that was to the upside, right? After that, joining the trend was really hard. Now, and look at what's happening now. How many distributions we had yesterday? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. When the last fifth form is when we have this rebalancing that happened at the close. It was very, very elongated, right? It was bought from, what it was for? From the 200, it started from the 200, then look at what's bought here, half back here, half back here, half back here, very exactly half back here, and the last one that came here came also pretty much exactly from half back. Right? Now, we have a trend day yesterday, and look at what we're having now. So far we have a downside trend so far. Look at where this high is. The market has reached settle. The market has taken this high volume area out. And what do we have in the lower side? Maybe this 59.06. But why I say 59.66? 16,000 here. This maybe this area here. Huh? And yesterday, the thing about yesterday is, not being able, there is something here I have not put here. It was very important from yesterday. Is this? Where it is? What? Oh yeah, it is here. This highlighted area that I have here. Oh oh. Oh oh. Oh oh. Oh oh. What the heck happened here? I need to close this chat book. Let me see what happened here. Okay. Oh, what the? This is the thing about Sierra. It has just so many options, man. So many options. Sometimes it just kind of drives you crazy. But I have this, and below I have this another one, but it's not as important as this one. Oh, regarding yesterday, something really important also. Kind of like to find something down here, in the same way as now. In the same way as now, I have this area here. I had something yesterday, which was, you know, which was why I got why I started to look to the upside. And what was that? Come on, man. It's gone now. What? I had it here from this day. Wait a minute, there is something. Let me close this chart book. No saving. Let me open again. Test. Just a second, please. Yeah, now I don't know why I guess what. Oh, it is it was there. It is just what the heck. Yeah, it is very light here. Is this area here? Let me do field transport. Why I put 95 here? I put 60, 80, 65 transparency. There you go. This area which came from these 2 days here. In the same way as I have this one up here, I have this one. But notice how long I have to, and I have all the weekend that you don't see here. I got a long weekend. Just this one here. I have all this here. This area here, right? This is the one. But the market could not take this one. Or actually, yeah, the market actually did take away this one back, right? And did not have downside continuation from this one. That was a sign to the upside. And after that, the higher it went, the harder it became to get in, to jump into the trend. It just was really hard, man. But that was the only trade. Now, the nuance that I'm watching, that I am calling today, is I'm going to remove this here. Is that we are having a trending day today. It's getting weaker. It's getting weaker here, but it's a trending day. The high has been corrected. Not corrected, but taken. This is now 528 high. And a downside trend, and look at where it is, right? A market that has confidence does not stop at this one. And I have, I believe what's happening here, there's a lot of traders that yesterday could not get into the trend, and now they are trying to catch the low. They are trying to catch a knife now. There was a lot of buying that came here at the high, a lot of buying that came here on this POC, right? But now I just noticed that this is selling from POC. Right? We have a stopping at POC here, buying from POC here, buying from POC here, buying from this POC here, right? Which, remember, trending days do not have POC. Well, I'm going to remove this reference. Right? Next thing, late pullback low. Notice where this low is. Next thing, sell. Right? Just those pieces of information tells me that somebody's trying, trying to catch a knife here. Okay? I couldn't get the low yesterday. Now I'm going to get the low, but the circumstances are very different today. We had tremendous amount of short inventory from Wednesday and Thursday last week, and that one is gone now. Now, it's very weird. The nuance here is very weird, right? It's a very notable nuance here that we are having back-to-back trending days in the opposite direction. That just is I got a short here, but I am flat. I am flat, and the options are very expensive today. Really, really expensive. It's for me, at least, it's not the risk is high. What the market is doing, right? Just ask yourself that question and answer that question. What is your answer? What are you doing, and what the market is doing? Are you buying this market? All right? Or are you selling this market? You have two options there. The other question is what the market is doing. It is really some simple question, but if you can see the market is going lower, if the market is selling, why are you buying? That was the only thing I wanted to talk about today as this market open, because I have the belief, I think that odds are high that traders, or especially short-term traders, were buying this market. It looks to me like that is the case, right? And it's really hard to separate, right? To separate what happened yesterday or what happened before, if I'm going to speak in general terms, what happened before with what's happening now. Those two things, right? Because we humans just don't do that. We base our behavior on past incidents, right? On past actions. If we did something before, we record what happened. We record the results that came after we did before, and we have a tendency to make improvements based on what we did before, right? In general terms. But trading is a very counterintuitive business. Most traders lose, right? So it's a very counterintuitive. So what I try to do is I try to do the opposite of what the herd is doing. Now, when you are in the herd, when we are in the herd, we don't know actually. One sign that can be the case is that we are following price. Right? We are just talking about price, looking whether the market is going higher. I'm going to buy because the market is going higher, or I'm going to sell because the market is going lower. It's very hard to be aware of those facts. It's like being in a toxic relationship. You just don't know, right? You just don't know. When you are inside, you don't know. Just after you left is when you realize about how it was. Or you don't understand your parents, right? You don't understand your parents until you yourself become a parent. That's when you understand your parents. And for that to happen, it has to happen 20, 30 years, right? When you have your sons, you have your kids on your own, now you understand your parents. But some of us have the luck to have them alive, and talk about that. And other people don't. But it is what it is. Now, we talk about this area, and going into that. The late pullback is my main reference. What the market does relative to this, it builds value above, it builds value below, right? I don't know what is happening. What I'm doing here is I'm highlighting value. Okay, I highlighting value. We have excess in the upper side. We don't have excess in the lower side yet. This is what I'm watching now. Is the lower side is weakening. I was checking the 59.30 puts. I guess, wait a minute, I guess I did that last week. Did I? Wait a minute. Holy crap. Yeah. Yeah, I did these ones last week. The 59.30. God, I have no idea I did that. And that tells you something, right? I just don't care what I did before. What matters was why do now. But if you see those things, for example, I just realized these are the same options that I was trading last week. That that's behavior. There's a behavior pattern right there from traders. Right? What kind of traders are those? Is the question. What are you doing? Are you in the bigger side, on the bigger time frame, short-term traders side, or the shortest one? That actually, I don't care about that. Right? Personally, I don't. It might seem counterintuitive, right? But those are think that I am just realizing that. I don't know what is going to happen today, but I am expecting, and again, this is a highly biased board. I am expecting some rebalancing here today, some sideways trading. Alright. Now, what we have now is these two distributions have been closed. This very questionable low has been taken, has been repaired. This distribution also has been closed. Now we have only two, right? But still, join these ones. Unfortunately, this is going to take. I'm not going to do that. It is also going to take the overnight as well. But just take a look at this shape. What do you have here? What will happen if you join this with today's, right? We have some upside extension and some kind of really big one here. Now let's go now. I'll take a little bit more here. Let's go now to heap and valleys. These are daily profiles. Look at this. This is something here. This is forming something here. But if you take this one as a whole, you got something big here, right? There is something building, kind of like around these two, right? This can be maybe like that. Alright. The market has taken this one, trades towards the end, it fails, targets this one, upside continuation, targets the opposite side of this one. So these are just different ways to see the market, how traders may see this one. Now, regarding today, but we have all of these questionable buying came from exactly the 200. Yeah, it seems like now, it seems like the market is targeting the 200 moving averages here. Now even C from yesterday was bought exactly from a mechanical reference here. Very weird day today, man. Very weird day. You don't see this kind of days often. You know, we have a trending day to the upside, followed by a trending day to the downside. This is not POC. Remember, as long as we have, and also as long as we have not ended one time frame globally, this is still a trending day. Notice where this high is now. Right? We have 1, 2. Very questionable. I am flat here. I just consider the risk for me was high. For anything, the upside or downside. Alright? I am actually looking to the upside now. Next thing I want to share. This is just to end. I am going to. This is to close the stream. Hold on a second. But I find something really nice. There was one thing that window had that I couldn't find. I even asked customer support in Sierra, which has very helpful. I really love their customer service. They're really nice. There might be some change of resolution because I just switched to the bigger screen here. and it is, this is my chart screen, and it is this one here. What I have here in window, this is the last thing I was looking for. These things are blocks, for example, there's one block here. Somebody bought more than 50 contracts at once here. It could be 250s or 100. I don't know. There's a way to know this if I go here and change my, instead of putting 50, I put 100. I will know, right? I will know if this is 100. Let's see. Yeah, this was 100. It was not 250. It was 100. But notice, there's nothing else. Nothing else. Only this one was 100. I don't care about that much. Right? I don't pay too much attention to that. Look at this. This is, and I was looking to this just to know, because this, as for example, yesterday we have this. Where was this? Is this L? This is M here. Well, when the market start having this kind of prints here, that usually represents the ends of a movement. Nothing. If you got something like this, but I don't need to know this because it's already end. Right? The market is closing. Who's going to go with all this inventory overnight, right? And I found that in Sierra here. It's really nice, man. Really nice. I could have done that. The last thing, for example, is 60, 60, 90, 64, which is this one here. This one here. Right, it's very nice, very nice. I really love, and that's the last thing I want to know. I want to have before doing the switch, finally doing the switch. And I'm finding some advantages. Actually, that's here, from over window. Right, and that's surprising. This one here is just a delta. I don't care about this. If I got something, I just watch this one, for example, in this period. That's what we have: top, low, top, high, top, high, top, high, top, high, right? And as the market goes lower here, it tries to one contract, right? And the bid is also one. This is where I look for something. Right? This is the end of the movement. The end of also this is the end of this action are high. This may take this high now, right? I am not saying it's going to go back up here, but this is the end. This might be, or the odds that this is the end of the current action are high, right? First of the action of the period, and now that it's getting closer to this high, it might mean the end of the downside action, and we actually can see some rotation here, right? Remember the nuance that is very unlikely. I haven't seen this kind of days that an upside trend day is being followed by a downside trend day. Uncertainty is high, but I still haven't seen that. Notice how volume comes here, right? And that's why I have this delta. I really don't care about that. Something that I like from this is that it gives me the color, right? Red high. There's some news coming here. This is the financial juice pop up that I have. I don't need more, I don't look for more. What I see more is what actually the market is doing here, right? But notice how this high is taking and prints another 4, right? Single digits. So I might see some sideways trading here. Is this one going to be taking? No idea. Now it has changed. So that's how I see this. That's how I use this. Yesterday we were talking also, it doesn't matter. It is not about information. Information is important, but what matters is what you do with that information. That really is key, right? What do we do with the information we have? All right. Unless you have any questions, and I guess I'm going to change. I am going to change the title. The title is Markets Out of Balance and Opportunities. The market is not out of balance. It's getting back in balance depending on what time frame you look. And that can be short covering all the way by long. No, the day after short covering. The day after short covering. No. Short balance. Rebalancing after short covering. No, this is long liquidation, short covering, and back to balance. I think that's the more long liquidation. We have this coming from last Wednesday. Short covering started over the weekend, and balance, which is rebalancing, which is what we are witnessing right now. Okay, alright guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Stay safe. I can see you another day. Bye bye.